Enough. All right. We are here. Servant renews his membership, says 1 year of membership here. Join if you haven't. Also, buy Black Rhapsody number 2. It is peak. Yes, link to do that, to back it, should be in the description down below, but it's not. I'm going to add it right now. It is. Excellent. All right. Hello. What is up? Goodness. We are here. We're going to roast something. I promise you. But first, admire the new wallpaper. I've now made it a point to change to like a different image every week. Also, thank you for the $2 servant. Says opening with proper demon slaying music. Hopefully the alerts are playing. I was just checking the volume on them real quick. But yes. I don't think anybody can probably name what album this is from, but I love the art. I know the album that it's from, and if someone actually knows in the chat, then you get an internet point. They are good for redeeming absolutely nowhere. Just like Reddit karma. First thing first, before we get into the topic for today, I want to answer this question from Shadower in the chat, because he actually seems like he's really bugged about this. So I'm going to try to be encouraging for a minute. He says, is it a sin to kill in games? A lot of people think so. It kind of makes me paranoid. They say that it's a sin to have gods in fiction. Please pray for me if that's okay. I want that paranoia to go away. Well, here's the thing. First off, no, it is not a sin to kill something in a video game. First is the context. There's a lot of video games where when you're fighting something, you're fighting them for a good reason. You know, you're fighting them because they're going to hurt somebody else or they're going to kill you. In which case, at that point, you're either defending yourself or someone else, which is a noble act. Yes, killing is violent. That goes without saying. It's like... But the act of defending oneself by its nature is violent. And the fact of the matter is that in the world that we live in, some violence is going to happen. It is a sad inevitability of the human condition. Second, people telling you that depicting gods in fiction is a sin based on what? The Bible says that the worship of other gods is a sin. It does not say the depiction of other gods in fiction, meaning that you're basically saying they're not real. You know, there's nothing even close to that. This is the reason that people who are Christians will tell you that. To control you. And to control what you think and control what you consume. The fact of the matter is that people are not the ultimate authority on this earth. God is. And if you believe in God, look to the Bible, look to the Word, and double check to see whether or not people are lying to you. A lot of them will, especially in this day and age. There's a lot of people out there that claim to be Christians. You know, the Twitter tradcath, I think we're all familiar with that archetype. They're just out there to control people. They don't actually believe in Jesus. They don't believe in anything. They don't love God. They're not the type of person to, you know, get scripture tattooed on their arm, you know? Like it's not something they care about. They care about controlling you in the way that you live. That's not them. That's not for them to decide. That's between you and God. And end of that discussion. So, Shadower, if you are still feeling a little bit paranoid about it, you're still feeling a little rough, first thing I would say, take a deep breath. And I don't mean that to be patronizing. I know it can kind of come across that way. The reason I say that is there's a lot of people that I know that they sit at their desk all day, they're working on stuff, or they're playing video games, or they're reading stuff, they're thinking, but they're not really cognizant of what their body is doing in that moment. So sometimes if you just stop everything for a second, you stop, you move your eyes off the monitor, and you just go. A few times, you'll feel a lot better. So relax, buddy. You're going to be okay. It's all good. And you're welcome here. Always. Don't forget that. Alright. Sorry, I know I got a little righteous there for a moment, but this is me we're talking about. But yes, welcome to the weekly stream. Hopefully everyone's having a good one. And yeah, we're talking about whether or not demons are people. There's a reason I titled it this. It's not, I'm not, how do I put this? I don't think they're people. No, of course not. Demons are to be destroyed. That is the inevitability. No, Serena brought something to my attention. Crystal Hydra says, "Greetings, Ape King. Good to see you, buddy." I actually need to take something off my leg real quick. Hold on. 1 second. I don't really need to have this on right now because I'm going to be sitting down for the next couple of hours. So, where is the third strap? Sorry, I have a knee brace on because it has been storming in my area. Ah. There we go. Oh! Okay, that's better. Yeah, it was storming in my area and my joints were acting up, so I threw that on, and that helped quite a bit. So that is what you were hearing. I'm getting old, my joints are all fucked up. But it was Serena had posted something in my Discord server, and it was of the servant throws in $2. Says, "Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble." It was an article that from Medium. I saw it. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. We're doing this again. We're doing it again. Now, here's my thing. how many of you know the infamous "What if we could talk to the demons" article that was a review of Doom? How many of you are familiar with this? I'm trying to find the yeah, Edge magazine. It was Edge magazine that did the original one. I'll bring it up here because there's a timeline I want to establish with just how fucking stupid this is. So, but yes, Edge magazine published an article way back in the day. If only you could talk to the monsters, and it is one of the worst reviews ever. One of the worst ones that you'll ever read, because it's fucking stupid. Like, what if you could talk to the things that are trying to rip your fucking face off? Can you imagine a Doom game like that? Excuse me, Mr. Imp. Mr. Imp, oh please. Oh please. Please stop. Stop throwing fireballs at me. I'm just a peaceful little Doom man, I swear. Fuck off. It's so fucking stupid. But it's an infamous review that is it was a really bad think piece. It's on the Wayback Machine. I'm going to link it in the chat right now so you guys can read it if you want. It is one of the dumbest things ever. Then, during the meme war, fucking, some jackass named Edward Smith. I don't think this guy ever went anywhere. Yeah, he didn't last that long. And he kind of just disappeared and went to, went somewhere. He was British, so since he's British, I'm just going to say, Edward, I hope you're doing a very good job of putting the chips in the bag. Where he was hilariously mocked for Doom's infamous Talk to the Monsters review was on the right side of history. Remember when this was a big term we saw on like Twitter and stuff all the time? Such and such is on the right side of history. I swear to God, every time I see that statement, I see either one of two things: A, the Tau, or B, I hear the Soviets. Not that there's much of a difference, but like. It just, again, it was another dumb article where this guy's like, gaming is dominated by snideness and cynicism. Like, I'm eager, however, let me read this because this is so fucking pretentious. I'm eager, however, not to resort, at least any further, into navel-gazing. Instead of game criticism specifically, the endearing mockery of Edge's Doom review says something disquieting about gaming culture generally. It's safe, it's self-censoring, and it's trapped inside dozens of ill-defined boundaries. When I see the reaction on Steam to a game like That Dragon Cancer, or when I read the bile spat on a daily basis at women or femininity of any kind in the gaming industry, I see a culture not only failing but actively resisting sophistication. This is the same industry that brought us Planescape Torment. Shut the fuck up. Like, kiss my ass. It's one of the, like, I'm not going to continue navel-gazing, but here I am navel-gazing even more and trying to prove to myself and to you that I am a superior human being because I am British and know buzzwords. Fuck off. Again, chips bag. Christ. That accent a reference to Jim Sterling? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, like, the reaction to that dragon cancer was, like, one of the most overblown things everywhere. Some people just didn't like it. Fucking get over it. But anyway, it was a really stupid article basically trying to say that video games weren't maturing at all because Doom exists or something, and because people think that some really pretentious video games or video games for the auteur can kind of have their head up their ass, which, by the way, they do. Like, this is something that I can speak to this as an artist. People who are auteurs, whenever it comes to the arts, are kind of full of themselves. And whenever you're doing something really obscure, or you're doing something that is supposed to be a bit more, well, auteur, you know, it's a little bit more, what is the term I'm looking for? It's not high concept. Goodness, I'm terrible with terms. Clearly, I am not caffeinated enough. But auteur game developers have a tendency to become pretentious. Or rather, that's the risk that they run. There's a game that was made in RPG Maker called Always Sometimes Monsters that came out around the same time that I played a little bit. Avant-Garde, thank you. Batzilla for the win. Yeah, when you want to do something avant-garde, you run the risk of having your head up your ass. It's just the way that it is. But when it comes right down to it, there was this thing called Always Sometimes Monsters. And it was about relationships and like stuff and that kind of drama. And it was kind of like Life is Strange, but through RPG Maker. I played a little bit of it. The dialogue was only kind of okay. It wasn't really that engrossing. They were trying for something. Again, they were trying to be a little bit more avant-garde, because it's not what you expect from an RPG Maker game, right? So they're trying something new. They're trying to be different. And sometimes when you do that, it's like, you know, it's like betting on black whenever you're playing I'm bad with words today. I want to go with Salt Lake. It's like doubling down in blackjack. We'll use blackjack. It's like doubling down whenever you're doing blackjack. Your odds are, depending on what card you have, around 50-50, if not less or more, than to not bust. Roulette, thank you, servant. Or like betting on black and roulette. You have a 50-50 chance of winning, right? So sometimes you'll come out with something that is kind of like really pretentious with your head up your ass. You'll do a Gone Home or a Fez or something like that. Or you might end up with like Planescape Torment, which is an avant-garde game for its time, but it's fucking incredible. And again, it's a gamble. You don't know whether or not people are really going to enjoy it. Like Torment was not a big seller back in the day. It's got a cult following. It's just the nature of the beast. But the fact of the matter is that there's some things that will work, some things that are simple, and there's nothing wrong with simple things. We can live in a world where Schindler's List and Predator are on a guy's movie shelf. We can live in a world where somebody can own a DVD or a Blu-ray of Brazil and a DVD of Commando or Rambo. Well, let's say Rambo 3. Rambo 1 is actually pretty deep. Yeah, Planescape doesn't treat you like an idiot. That's, yeah. It expects you to be a thinking human being. But, in the world of video games, you can have something like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which is very different in the way that it presents itself as an adventure game, especially in regards to its plot, and then and the story that it tells. And then you can also have something like Doom. And this whole, like, you know, people are resistant to, like, talking or things along those lines. And it's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the Persona games were gaining in popularity back in the 2010s. Now they're very popular compared to what they were. Mostly because a bunch of people watched video essays of them that actually bought the re-releases that came out recently. I love that mock article. Persona fan plays very first Persona game. So, but like the idea that there isn't avant-garde stuff in video games is bullshit. There is, but the thing is that there's a lot of it that sucks. You know, because the fact of the matter is that the barrier to entry to get into video games now is lower than it ever has been. Anybody can make a video game. And with AI improving day by day, it's going to get even easier. You know, because there's going to be a lot of things that the AI can just do for you. Which is risky in my opinion, but, you know, it's something that's going to happen. It's an inevitability. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, like, acting as if video games, like, aren't maturing because people don't want Doom to, like, the ability to talk to demons in Doom. Do you not know? Because at that point, it's like, are we ignoring the context of Doom? As a journalist, you should not ignore the context of anything. You know, which is why, again, this dude is putting, you know, his crisps in the bag, and, you know, I'm sitting here with a YouTube channel that's growing considerably now. You know, because I just, like, we gained, I don't know if you guys noticed, we've already gained, like, we're just barely over halfway through the month. I've already got over another 1,000 subscribers. You know, we keep winning here, to say the least. But, the fact of the matter is that, like, the idea that these nuanced things weren't going on is kind of bullshit. I mean, hell, a video game made by communists is well liked within video gaming circles, even by people who hate communists. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about Disco Elysium. Like, I fucking hate commies. I hear that game is great. You know? But yeah, the context of Doom is that they killed your fucking rabbit, and they killed your family too. Fuck them. At that point, there's no conversation. There is only the responses that come at muzzle velocity. At that point, you die. Yes, for those who don't know, Doom is a revenge story. I appreciate that, Therion. Thank you. Yeah, not everything has to be avant-garde. There's nothing wrong with fun. Goodness. But today we have this fucking shit. Before we get started, there are How many people are in here? 23, 25? Not a ton of people today, sadly. I think people saw the title and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna be pretentious." Well, hopefully they watch it later and realize that this is me making fun of people. How many in here have not backed Black Rhapsody yet? Just waiting on response. How many of you have not backed Black Rhapsody Book 2 yet? Some have not. We are a bit behind. As you can see here. I'm putting in the link again. We are a bit behind where we need to be to get this. So if you have not backed the book yet, the gist of this particular book, what it is it is a horror take on the magical girl genre. A good way to put it is that it's sort of this same magical girl horror subgenre as something like Magical Girl Sight or Magical Girl Apocalypse. But the difference is that this is not edgy. This actually has heart to it. There's a lot of heart to it, which I think is, like, honestly something that really sets it apart, that I really wish people would, see for themselves. I really think that people should get behind this because it's a very special story. And I have seen Serena work very hard on this, and admittedly, as her editor, I've been pushing her to succeed, and been pushing her to, put 120% and to stick with it, despite how tough it gets. But the basic story is, in the previous book, and the context here is that this chick right here, her name is Dulcibella. She is a diva, big musician. Think evil magic Beyonce. And in the previous issue, our hero, Aletha, actually chucked water in her face after this bitch said her music sucked, and told her breath smells. Lo and behold, now she's in her office brushing her teeth. I like that. It's a nice little showing that Aletha got to her in more ways than one. But it kicks off a whole event that is effectively going to take Aletha and completely change her life in some very bad ways, but also in some very interesting ways. So it is brutal. It is violent. If you are somebody who just likes to see somebody get shredded, yeah. So please back the book if you have not already. I've already put the link in the chat. I'm actually going to go ahead and pin it real quick. We can extend this 5 days just so you guys know, but trust me when I tell you, like, this is one of those stories that is gonna be something special. But anyway, but one thing about this is that the writer of this, who's in the chat, Serena, you'll also see her screen name is Miss Serena. She forced me to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. The review of that is on the podcast, on the Grind. So if you're not subscribed to the Grindstone Arts channel, it's in the description. Guessing Beyonce isn't well liked in right-wing circles. I don't really consider myself to be right-wing these days, to be honest with you. I think that some people just don't like her in general because she's kind of got an attitude, kind of a mean lady, it seems. But yeah, I sat down, I watched K-pop Demon Hunters, And it's not for me. It's clearly for young girls. You know? I think that goes without saying. But I watched it so I understand the context. But I saw this, and I said to myself, I'm like, oh my god, this might be one of the silliest things that I've ever seen. This is from a Medium article that says K-pop demon hunters lacks nuance. Demons are evil and must be murdered. Are you sure about that? Yes. I'm absolutely sure. This is from some chick named Lady Horatia. I hope that Horatia shuts up. Anyway. By the way, there's no introduction to the article or setup for the thesis. It just goes straight into it. Like you open with a thesis. There's no opening with a thesis. It says here, let's analyze the dynamics of the film. Essentially, there's a world of demons and there's a world of humans. The two worlds are kept separate, but the demons can invade the human world. The demons feed on human souls, turning them into soulless husks. It has been shown that demons are the source of humanity's anxiety, depression, and mental health problems. The solution? Music. Okay. Or to be more precise, a girl band who are also demon hunters. They hunt demons, banishing them to the demon realm, and sing beautiful music. Said music binds all of humanity's souls together to create a magical barrier between the human world and the demon realm, known as the Hanmoon. Throughout history, a girl band, well, not quite, it's just sirens, effectively, have always been singing and hunting demons, protecting humanity. The most current iteration is a K-pop girl group known as Huntrix. They are working towards realizing the Golden Hanmoon, which would permanently sever the demon realm for the human realm. How do they do it? The same way they've always been doing it, by binding all the human souls together through music. Sounds pretty straightforward, and it is. I was on board for the story at the start, but the demons have a ruler known as Guima. It suggested that his power is so totalizing that demons don't really have free will. The demons don't have a choice but to obey their overlord Guima. Guima is controlling all the demons. How much can we really blame the demons for their actions? I said so. Rena, stop that. Don't make me get the squirt bottle. At least I think I said sort of. Maybe I didn't. But anyway. Can we really blame the demons for their actions? Did you watch the movie? They have agency. I mean, what, like the whole thing is proposed by someone. The whole plan of really gay boy band is proposed by somebody. What? Goodness. It's also shown that demons can feel things. They can get scared, and they can be happy or sad. Demons can also have pets, and those pets act like pets in our real world, except with magical powers. The main demon character, Genu, even makes a tiny hat for his pet demon tiger, but his pet demon bird always steals the hat and wears it himself. Genu is also part of the really gay boy band named Saja Boys, who make and sing their own songs. The demons are capable of creativity, craft, of art. And they're also capable of stealing souls, which they choose to do. So if you're arguing that they have agency, so this is where the logic starts to fall apart. So you're arguing that they have agency, so we should reconsider hurting them, right? So if they have agency, that means they can choose not to kill. Yet they still do. Almost like now they're choosing to be evil. We'll hold on to that for a minute. If you couple their capability to make art together with their ability to feel emotions, shouldn't that be proof enough that they are human? No. Shouldn't they be given autonomy and not be subject to senseless slaughter? No. What gives humans the right to do that? Because they're trying to kill humans and take their souls. At this point, all you have done is prove that it's self-defense. Justified self-defense at that. You're telling me that they can choose not to murder people. They continue to bang on about this. They call it, like, this is where it gets. It's colonial. The civilized upper classes of humans are allowed to live and exist freely, while the subjugated, literal, subaltern class of demons are not allowed to want freedom. Well, it's almost like they have a fucking totalitarian leader or some bullshit. Shut the fuck up. It's classist, it's colonial, and it's horrible. Then, like, it's not the humans' fault that the demons have a shitty leader. It's not the humans' fault that the demons are subjected to Guima's whims. Why is that the humans' fault? The fuck? So it goes on. It's largely nonsense. It's a lot of self-righteous waffle. They say the ending is rushed. No, it's not. This is something that these fucking idiots never understand. Do you think the demons enjoy Kagalia's crying? Oh no. Okay, so let me explain this. I did this during the Frerin review, but I'm going to do it again here. If you want to argue that these demons have a degree of free will, that they have a degree of sentience, that they are human-like, I'm not going to say human, human-like, humanoid, something along those lines, that they have these degrees of it, first and foremost, at that point, one of two things has to be considered. One, of course, is obviously that they are being forced to attack humanity by Guima. In which case, that's actually tragic. But it doesn't mean that the people that they're attacking don't have the right to defend themselves. Because, there's a point where the girls kill a bunch of demons that are on top of a fucking subway train. Imagine if a bunch of demons got into a subway train. I imagine it would look like something like the subway scene from Predator 2. That's a bad fucking day, for those who have never seen that movie. So at that point, it's tragic, but you have to defend yourself. Because the alternative is you just let them kill everyone. Why? What? Why would you do that? Like, let's not pretend that there are scenes in the film where they are wantonly attacking human beings. And that the ultimate goal is to take all of the souls of humanity and for Guima to eat them. So do you just let it happen? Is that the solution? Because, by the way, you can't say that they didn't try to talk to the demons, because What's-Her-Face actually fucking does it. She basically romances one. Dude gives his life to make sure that Guima can't pull off his shit. So, on top of that, like, that makes it even worse. Because here's the thing. This idiot, who is this fucking moron again? Lady Horatia? Lady, you're a fucking idiot, is what you are. You're not Horatia, you're fucking retard. You retard. You need to understand this. Your argument doesn't make sense within the context of the fucking movie. So if you're telling me that they're capable of self-sacrifice and doing good, all you're showing me is that one decided to do good and there's hundreds of others that didn't give a fuck. At this point, fuck these guys. They're trying to kill me. Like that. Why are we? And this is an issue that I have with all of these pretentious fucking bread tube wannabes. They do not understand the logic of what they're saying, and they always have to cut out context to try to make their argument. Why are you doing that? Why are you cutting out context? Context defines meaning. If you have to cut out context to make an argument, your argument is invalid. Because you're not making an argument based on what's there. You're making an argument based on your feelings, and your feelings mean nothing. Feelings change. They are a temporary thing. One day you can feel angry, the other day you can feel sad. They are in a consistent set of flux. Emotional arguments are stupid. So there's that. But, and this is the thing that I said in the Frerin video. If you're telling me they have free will, and they're choosing to do this, that makes it worse. It doesn't, because here's the thing. If you're in a situation where you are charged by, let's say, a puma, you know, or actually, let's go a little smaller. Let's go with like a Tasmanian devil, or a werewolf, not a werewolf, a Wolverine, not Hugh Jackman Wolverine, but a Wolverine, like the little animal. Let's say you're charged by a Wolverine while you're out hunting. So what you do is you grab your sidearm and you fire and you kill it. At that point, you're just defending yourself from a wild animal. And look, this is a fact of nature. Survival of the fittest. You know, if you're in a situation where you can be hunted, you need to be able to defend yourself. It's why animals have natural methods of defense, and why human beings are so adept at building tools and weaponry. It's for exactly that reason. You know, we wouldn't have figured out, we would probably be extinct as a species if we didn't figure out that sharp, pointy stick, very effective. You know? If you're going to argue to me that they're sentient and they are humanoid, and they're still trying to kill people, this goes from simply being self-defense in the rules of nature to a public fucking service. Because at that point, not only are you trying to kill people, you're choosing to do it. That's worse. That's a new level of evil. Because here's the thing. If you're cognizant of the value of life and the value of art and the value of all these other things, if you're completely aware of it and you try to kill people, you are worse than an animal. Because you are aware of it and you still choose to do it. You know how much damage this can do, you do it anyway. In either situation, why should I have pity for the demon? What the actual fuck? Like this, and this is my biggest issue with 2345, just so you know, I will answer that here in a second. When it comes right down to it, this is the problem with the argument. Debating their humanity doesn't mean anything if they're trying to kill me. Oh, they feel feelings, they feel this, they feel that. Why are they trying to kill me then? Especially in this case, nobody's going to the demon realm to hunt them. They're just trying to protect their own planet. The girls didn't do anything wrong. Like, seriously, these girls here, they didn't do anything wrong. They just singing. I don't like a lot of their music, but that's okay. They seem nice. They're just singing. They're doing a job. They're making music. You know? There's way too much auto-tune. Way too much synth. But it is music. I just don't like it. They feel feelings. Hitler did too. Yes, exactly. Elijah Haynes in the chat nails it. Hitler had feelings. Stalin had feelings. Pol Pot had feelings. The Viet Cong had feelings. You know? The Russian troopers that invaded Afghanistan had feelings. The Muslim Brotherhood has feelings. And guess what? They feel that everybody who doesn't look like them deserves to die. Kind of. So, the fuck? You know? Like, what the actual hell? Like, you're not making a point here. Yeah, Griffith had feelings. Thank you, Joel. Griffith had feelings. Giran Zombie had feelings. You know? Shar Aznable had feelings. It's not a point, and it just drives me fucking crazy to hear that argument. 2345 says, speaking of breadtubers, what are your thoughts on H. Bomber Guy and his plagiarism video where he tried to take down Internet Historian? I think that, from what I recall, he kind of exaggerated the level of plagiarism with Internet Historian. And that's why it didn't really, like, have that much of an effect on the guy. The other people that he talks about in that video, it was a lot more legit. Like, as much as I hate to say it because he's a fucking commie, some of the people he went after were people on his own side that were actively plagiarizing other people, and they deserved to be called out. You know, so there's that. Oh, you thought I was going to answer the dolphin question? What was the dolphin question? Dolphin question. I must have missed it. Silver Freedom Gamer makes a good point. He says demons from Berserk and Demon Slayer get sad backstories but kill people that have nothing to do with them, and they die for it. Exactly. The Count in Black Swordsman has a very sad story. Dude's out here just fucking purging as a fucking crusader, right? Dude is purging. Dude is doing what he feels is right for the Holy See, if I remember right. Comes home, his fucking wife is in a pagan orgy. So he fucking kills everybody in it. But he gives in to the Bailet. He chooses. The Bailet is a choice. He chooses to do it. And becomes a monster. You know? Griffith, same thing. Griffith was rescued. He was out. They were gonna get out of Midland. He was given a choice on whether or not to give in to the Bailet. He was given a choice in front of the idea of evil. What did he tell the idea of evil? I want wings. It was a choice. And that's worse. It's always worse. Would this morality apply to dolphins and their behavior, certain behavior towards humans? What, that they'll try to fuck you in the butt? Well, yeah, if a dolphin attacks you, you have the right to defend yourself. It's an animal. Like, yeah, it is fairly cognizant. So are orcas. You know? But so are wolves. So are octopi. Octopi are incredibly intelligent for animals. But if one were to try to kill you, you have every right to defend yourself. Was that a reference to King of the Hill? There's also a lady out there that actually tried to fuck a dolphin, if I remember right, and she succeeded. Here's a sci-fi example as well. The Geth in Mass Effect. The Geth were victims. The Geth were completely victims. They didn't do a fucking thing to deserve what the Quarians did to them. They didn't. They were actually, even when they gained sentience, the only thing they were thinking of, how can we help our creators? That's all they cared about. Like, that's the wild thing when you learn about the Geth. But the Geth, they fell after that, went to the Reapers for solutions, and then, you know, and then you have the first Mass Effect game, and their role in that. And some of you guys are way too infatuated with the fact that a woman fucked a dolphin. I'm over here talking about robots. Oh, God. But yeah, the Geth are a really good example of that. Like, they're on the opposite end of this spectrum. Like, because the funny thing is, like, if this article was like, was it right for the Geth to attack or for the Quarians to attack the Geth? No. The Quarians did it because they were fucking scared of nothing. Like, there was no reason for them to be frightened of the Geth. They still wanted to help. They gained sentience somehow. But their whole thing was like, yeah, we feel we are an imitation of life, but we exist, you know, and we're able to process these things. We are aware of our existence, you know, but we still want to help you. We're here to help. We're just more evolved than your standard AI, you know, or as they call it in that universe, virtual intelligence. Which is akin to kind of like what we have right now. Would a sentient robot look at BattleBots and find it offensive, or would they be like, awesome, ultra-violence? I have a feeling that they wouldn't see it the same way. That was the one thing I actually liked about the Geth, is the Geth were not like pro-machine, they were pro-Geth. As in, the Geth are a race, and they have a certain distinctive, like, sentience to them. They are unique. But they are not, all machines are not Geth. You know? And I think that Legion actually like talks about that when you talk to him in Mass Effect 2. If a T-800 can learn human emotion sacrifice in order to prevent it from starting Skynet, I mean, well, yeah. So like stuff like that is a different thing, but like the instant that they're trying to kill you, the answer is shotgun. Or in K-pop Demon Hunters, like magical sword, you know. But that's the answer. You know, oh, that's interesting. You have art too, Mr. Demon Man. Oh, you want to eat me? I have a solution for that. It's called screwdriver to the eyeball. You know? Like, get fucked, pal. You have violated the NAP! Oh my god. Going back to what I said earlier, the orcs are tortured and mutilated elves by Morgoth. They still kill and pillage and kill their own. They just follow Morgoth and Sauron because they fear them. Yeah, basically. It's a choice. And if it's a choice, it's even worse. Leo said, I saw your tweet about the people on Reddit talking about 40K that are not real fans. Are you saying that Reddit is an echo chamber for grifters? Yes. Does Micah keep a screwdriver on his desk in case of emergency? Not only do I keep a screwdriver on my desk in case of emergency, I actually have 2 flatheads. This is the one that was in my toolbox. I actually keep a pair, a Phillips head and a flathead, for whenever there's something in here that I need to adjust or need some maintenance. That Phillips head actually is really good for my PC. Excuse me. Michael says for two loony, $2 Canadian. Speaking of games, COD Bops 7. It's getting old. There's 7 of them. I lost track after 3. Like, really? Okay. Yeah, if a life is threatened, moral decency goes out the window as it always has been. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what you should expect. Do I like classical music or rock music? Yes. The answer is yes. What is my first Gunpla? The first one I ever built in my life? I will show you. It is... They used to sell these in Toys R Us when Gundam Wing came here to the States. The very first Gunpla I ever built was the high-grade 1/100 Wing Gundam Zero. Got it for Christmas. And this is what started the addiction. I had this. I had Death Scythe. I had the high grade Epion as well. I had the high grade God Gundam and Gundam Maxter because the Maxter had a 1/100 as well. I had the 1/144th scale Master Gundam. And I think that was it for when I was a teenager. I didn't pick up the hobby again until the pandemic, honestly, because it is admittedly pretty expensive. You know, like, and even then I've got, I've got a bunch behind me too. Like, oh, where do we even start with this? Well, there's only 4. Oh, I did get a couple things in. When I had a little money, these were on sale. So, now I have the last 2 action bases I need. And what I need them for... One, 2. Yeah. Wow, one of these is way heavier than the other. Yeah. I'm a very happy old man. For those who can't tell, Sandrock, heavy arms. I'm a very happy man. I have wanted these 2 for fucking years. And this one right here, this one right here is so goddamn rare that I actually have to, I actually bought another Heavy Arms EW, the normal one, not this one, not the Kai. I bought another one for spare parts. Basically, so that if, anything but the Gatling guns break, I will have replacement parts for it. So yeah, I am. I'm gonna move my mic real quick. But yeah, I am. I'm a happy camper with those. Then over here, I also have the F91. I lost my other one. And I'm looking around to see if I can find some water slide decals for this, because these are dry decals instead. But I've built this kit already once before. I'm looking forward to getting to paint one. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I haven't decided. But whatever I do with it, it's going to be dope. And then finally, I mentioned this in my most recent video. This has been sitting back here for over a year. Have a good one, servant. But yeah, this has been sitting back here for a fucking year. And the reason I have not built it is because there's 2 things I want to get. I want to get an MS cage, and then I want to get a an LED set for the inside of him. Any crossbone Gundams? I'm gonna have to rebuild the crossbones too. I lost those too. I had the X3, man. I had the Crossbone X3. Fully built and painted. And I lost it somewhere. I don't know where it went. So, might have gotten thrown out accidentally when I was like cleaning a room or something. It's been known to happen with me. Yeah, there we go. Shadow says, Yo, Micah was able to go to Japan last month. Was able to pick up a bunch of Origin kits, including some of the P Bandai ones. Nice. Which version of Wing Zero do you like more? I don't have a preference. I like them both. For different reasons. Just fucking, the Wing Zero EW is just so fucking hardcore that it's hard to not like. I'm gonna check something real quick. Okay. What's going on with P Bandai right now? Let me zoom in for you guys. This one would be really nice to have. We'll have a look. I'm gonna put a couple tabs out there real quick. For those wondering, I'm not big on high grades. My hands are too fucking big. Blaze Zaku. Pheh. I love how they just have these here. This I'm thinking I might try to get my hands on. Because for those who haven't seen it, I have behind me, I have a desk where I have a Jesta and a Jagan patrolling it. And I've been wanting to add more to it. Then again, this one would have that sniper, which that's a badass sniper rifle. But I don't know. For those who don't know, this is from Narrative Gundam. Yeah, Master Grade is my preferred size of Gunpla to build. It's a dope looking kit though. The Jest is something great, man. This is one of my favorite mobile suits from Unicorn. And by extension, Narrative. But yeah, I love how they're just selling this. I'm tempted to get one, but I'm always going to be tempted to paint the green as a white instead, because I feel like it looks a lot better. But the Rigsy, it's a pretty good suit. It's pretty cool looking. I just think that it's so stupid that they put that they made the Wave Rider detachable. Like, why? Why would you do that? It's so silly. It's like, let's overcomplicate the Zeta Gundam. Good old Federation. Gotta love them. But this one I'm very much tempted to get. I do not have one of these for my 1-year war shelf. And it would be nice to have. Do I have any Metal Gear kits or Jehudi kits? Sadly, no. I really want to make one of Metal Gear Rex at some point. Speaking of which... Do I kit bash? Not yet. I do have a box full of extra parts, so it will happen at some point. Minis, huh? Oh, it's just Star Wars stuff. Fuck Star Wars. Star Wars is no good these days. Excuse me. But, Kotobuki is the one who does the Metal Gear stuff. You know, I'm an idiot. I know there's a lot of people that already think that. Looks like they don't have Metal Gear in stock. See, this is tempting. But the problem that I would run into, I'd be wasting a lot of plastic. Because all I would end up doing is taking the MS cage and throwing the unicorn out. I would feel very bad. I'd feel very bad about it. People even remember Metal Gear for the mechs? No. No. Hell no. Anything from G-Quack? Not in Master Grade. But, yeah. I do think that they actually sell MS cages, though. They do. It's a Gundam-based thing, so it's hard to find. And there's also like an off-brand one that you can get. It's made in China. Well, they've got like a bunch on eBay that I could buy. So I think that's probably what I'll end up doing. Oh man! And Elijah Haynes is now quoting every single lyric from Rules of Nature. We get it. It's very humid today. But yeah. Well, that was interesting to go through, wasn't it? Batzilla asks, who do you think is the more compelling AI villain? Am, Shodan, GLaDOS, or Skynet? Shodan. Personally. Goodness. Well, I think I've kind of ran out of stuff to talk about. Honestly. There's not really a whole lot else out there. Oh, Leo had a question. Outside of Vulcan, what other Primarchs do you believe value humanity? Well, they all value humanity as a concept. All the Loyalists do. Because the Imperium to them represents the whole of humanity. Now, individual human life is different. If you're looking for ones that are nice guys like Vulcan, there isn't one. The closest you're going to get is Corvus. Corvus Corax. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, Am is just a raging dick and Skynet is a non-character. Skynet is more of like a force of nature, you know? At least that's how it's presented. I feel like trying to turn Skynet into a character is a mistake. But yeah. Fizz, stop being edgy. Like 2 steps away from Fed posting in my chat. Don't do that. But anyway. Tad more partial to Am because he won. I mean, he's got that going for him. But yeah. I've noticed the only other thing is on the censorship area, a lot of that seems to have calmed down. Because Trump signed in a executive order saying that payment processors can't discriminate based on certain grounds. So that's the end of that, at least here in the United States. Ever heard of the Talos Principle? It's a puzzle game, right? I don't know much about it beyond that. Everything covering Votoms or Zoids at one point. Zoids probably not. Votoms definitely. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Nobody cares about Zoids. Nobody cares. All I remember is there's a Liger and that's about it. Like, I used to watch that as background noise when I was a teenager, and I remember nothing from it. UK is screwed. Yeah, the UK is screwed. Over political stuff, but not over collective shout. Might have something to do with the case that sets precedent. Well, at the end of the day, what Collective Shout is doing is they're trying to effectively influence it through social pressure. And if you cut off that, like the ability to discriminate, your payment process basically is discriminating on certain grounds, then you eliminate their ability to do that. And the other thing is like, as a consumer, you can also put social pressure on a payment processor as well. So, that what they don't seem to understand is it can go both ways. But from what I understand, the backlash has been so bad against them, and the PR was so bad against them that they're desperate for money. And I don't think they're going to get it. Only if they listen. Well, let's not start getting all fucking doomer in here. At the end of the day, businesses like money. You can always take your money elsewhere, or you can always raise such a stink that they can't not listen to you, which is what people did. Is there any other mecha show that I want to be in Super Robot Wars? Not particularly that I've seen. I mean, they've had just about everyone that I've enjoyed in it. How long has Collective Shout existed? Couple decades. It was a group put together by a bunch of former Australian politicians. They have a lot of pull with the political elite in that country. First spot of good news. Did you hear Nimi Nightmare is getting married? I did. I'm very happy for her. The Lord knows that there's a lot of people out there that lost their shit when she announced that. It's like, buddy, you are not him. You are not him. You never had a chance. Because let's be honest about something. Some of us are aware of what certain VTubers look like outside of their avatars. there's a good chunk of them that are very attractive young ladies. So let's do the math. Attractive young ladies, and for a lot of cases, a lot of people who are watching VTubers are dudes like me, fat, out of shape, and pasty. Unless you're filthy rich and have a 12-inch dick, it ain't happening, pal. Like, it ain't happening. You are not him. You know? You are he, they. You will never be him. That's just the way it is, man. Because the fact of the matter is, and I know some people might see this as chauvinist. I'm going to be honest. This is just truthful. Relationships are something where we're always asking what we have to offer the other person. You know? They're looking for something. We're looking for something. You know? And in that particular case, what does pasty white guy in his mother's basement... I'm being mean, but okay. So let's not be mean. Pasty white guy, overweight, in working a 9 to 5, in customer service, constantly fucking miserable, and doesn't care about himself, but watches, VTuber. What chance do you think you have with a woman who is attractive, has a hell of a personality, and is also wealthy herself? What do you have to offer? You know? It's just like... That's just what it is. That is just something that you're not going to be able to touch. It's not going to happen. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't find a good woman and find happiness in your life. There's a lot of gorgeous women out there that are very sweet, very nice girls. You know? But unless you're willing to, not be a slob, the top of the heap will always be outside your reach. It's just the way that it is. You know? And maybe reality sucks, but then you just get to... I say that, and then the Tyler Preston says reality sucks. It goes to the... I hate to quote Vince McMahon. Life sucks, and then you die. Like, life is hard. Life is fucking hard. You know? I've kind of come to the conclusion... Well, not come to that, kind of. I've come to the conclusion that, like, I'm 40... I'm going to be turning 40 this December. You know? And YouTube is starting to go well. There's the distinct possibility I'm going to be able to make a living off of this for a good long while. Which makes me pretty excited, because I have a lot of fun, obviously. And you guys are awesome. I've got a good audience. You know, there's a lot to have fun with here, right? So, when it comes right down to it, the thing that I've realized is that there's some things in my own life that I have to change if I want more than what I have. So what I'm doing, and so this is just basically me saying there's no stream next week, is next week I'm taking all week to myself. This week I'm working on the last part of the Zeta series. I'm taking a week after this to go into my living room, clean it completely, rearrange my furniture in there, and then move all my Gunpla out of my bedroom into the living room. Then I'm cleaning my bedroom, all of it, moving my punching bag and my weights into my bedroom, so it's easier for me to work out whenever I get up. I can just get up and start hitting the heavy bag after I put my wrist wraps on and my gloves on. You know? I'm going to start making some changes. And I'm pretty confident about it. I'm feeling pretty good. Because the one thing that I am realizing is I'm a little bit of a silver fox. I'm getting to that degree, right? I'm getting the silver hair coming in. And I'm kind of okay with it, you know? But I'm like, you know what? I really want to start boxing again. I really want to start exercising again. We're getting a point where my joints are starting to feel better. Specifically, like my back and my hip are starting to feel a lot better. I'm just like, man, I'm really looking forward to getting in there and getting this stuff done. Losing some weight, adjusting my diet a little bit. I'm still going to drink soda because this makes me happy. I'm not going to lie. But just kind of, improve myself. But make the most of the situation I have, because the fact is like, I'm not going anywhere in regards to this apartment. I can't afford to move. I'm not going to be able to afford to move because I still got to fulfill Inglewood Book 1, or Book 2 rather. I fulfilled 1 a long time ago. I need to finish 3 nights. That's a lot of money that is going to cost to get those books done and out the door. So saving money to move is not happening. All of my extra money is going straight to that. But I'm working hard to make sure I make that money. And then hopefully maybe by the end of this year, beginning of next year, I'm in a position where I can start saving money to leave. And then we can get somewhere with it. My goal is very simple. By the time I'm 45, I want to have over 100,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, which seems doable. All the projections that I've seen have me hitting 50K sometime by the end of the year, if not beginning of next year. Hold on a second. Let's look at Social Blade, see what they say. According to Social Blade, at the pace we're at right now, they're saying by September I might hit 40. I'm sorry, by October I might hit 40K. And then by November I might hit 50 if I keep at this pace. Which we got to just keep it up. And then by next year start 60. And then by the end of, or by this time next year, have 100,000. And we're just going to keep it up. We're just going to keep rocking. We're just going to keep winning. We're just going to keep kicking ass. And with that, more money will come in. When more money comes in, then anything is doable. So, but my goal is by the time that I'm 45, I want to be out of Illinois and in North Carolina. I want to own my own home in a nice, smaller town with decent internet. And a nice big fenced in backyard where I can run a smoker and enjoy my life. And then that is what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to be a publisher and a broadcaster until the day I die. That's what I want. That's what I want right now. And just work hard to get there. That's what I'm going to do. Because I enjoy what I do. I would rather, if I can just do this forever, I'm a fucking happy dude. Do I watch King of the Hill? Well, I'll tell you what. Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just need a picture of a goddamn hot dog. That boy ain't right. I guess the Japanese didn't have propane. I think I do a decent Hank Hill impersonation. I'll tell you what. What's in North Carolina? My business partner and one of my best friends, Alex. Where I'm looking to move is a small town just north of Greensboro, because that's where he and his missus are going to start setting up roots. So, have I seen the recent season of King of the Hill? Only clips of it. What are your thoughts on Comicsgate stuff from the likes of Ethan Van Sciver or Rippaverse? Rippaverse, I have only read a bit of Yaira, and I was not impressed. Now, granted, this is me saying this. If you want to see whether or not I compare to whatever Rippa is putting out, I have 2 comics that I've published. There's a link in the description, and you can read them on Kindle right now. And if you think that I'm in no position to criticize, by all means. But I was not super impressed with Yaira. I felt like the editor of that book was not willing to tell the Soska sisters to tweak their dialogue in certain ways, and that is not a good position to be in as an editor. So the book ended up suffering. The art was fine. I actually thought the character design was a lot stronger than other Rippaverse characters too. But I feel like that's one area where they've been lacking a lot of is in character design. A lot of their stuff is just a little bit too simple. And I've noticed that there's a distinct lack of iconography, which I don't think is good. Logos are good. Logos are good. Like, I speak from experience. Including those is a good thing because it gives you something to look at. You visit Vicky versus the homeless shelter? I think I'll pass. I tend to not want to visit people that have tried to destroy my way of life. But, because if I remember right, she tried to... I might be misremembering. It might have been somebody else. It might have been the Incest Brothers. That tried to report 3 nights for violence on the campaign. I don't remember. Brown, you might remember better than I do, buddy. Or I don't think it was Liam that did that, so... We got a Big Micah trash cast. Now, hold on. To be fair to Eric, he does seem to want to get better. And that is the right attitude to have. He does seem to want to consistently improve. So that's why I'm being constructive. Because I would like to see him improve. Because the fact of the matter is the mainstream needs competition so that the mainstream improves. As for Comicsgate stuff, I don't follow a lot of CG projects. A lot of them that I have seen kind of feel very niche. Though some don't. It just depends on the book. I do like Cyberfrog. I enjoyed the first 2 books. I think I bought... Did I buy Warts and All? I bought the 2 books that were like old stuff that he did, that he printed on cardstock for some reason, and they were not fun to read. Should try reading Dr. Alpha by Literature Devil. No, I don't like Lit Dev on a personal level. He trashed me for some stupid shit back in the day, so I'm not too pleased with him. It was full tribalistic shit too. It was him kind of inserting himself in an issue that EVS and I had for a short time that we fixed. So yeah, it's like, dude, it's not your feud. Mind your own fucking business. So yeah, not too pleased by him. If I ever read Doc Alpha, it would be because Preston Acevedo did the art for one of them. That's it. It was both of them, the Royal Ups and Vicky. Jesus. But yeah, it's that time period was so fucking wild to me. You criticized me on the internet. I'm gonna try to make sure that that you can't sell your book. The fuck. So weird. Haven't been on his podcast for a long time, so this was a surprise. It was just one of those things where Comicsgate, like, my time as part of, like, someone who is, like, really active in it was a lot of just fucking stupid ass infighting. And it was so dumb, and I hated all of it. And just I got to a point where I'm like, look, I cannot. I'm just gonna focus on my own work and let everything else fix itself. You know, I just at a point I was just like, fuck this noise. This is so gay. This is so gay. And I just don't comment. Like, I'm still friendly with people. Don't get me wrong, but and it's nothing against people that are in CG. It's just the consistent back and forth. I don't want any part of it. You know, it's just like, you guys figure out your own shit. I'm just going to stay over here and just continue to work because that's what I'm here for. Because the principles that I have not changed. You know, my goal is still start a publishing company, put out regular books that are good quality, that compete with other stuff that's out there, and put them out on a regular basis. That's the big thing, regular basis. You know, obviously within reason, but, you know, I'm not trying to be super fucking avant-garde, head up my ass publisher. I'm just trying to make good stuff, good stories. And sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get the product out to the customer. You know? And fighting is such an issue, it takes away from giving the big two the competition. Exactly. You know? Because the fact is that, like, I really wish that there was a lot less of it. But the big thing is like, in the age of social media, there's a lot of people that just don't want to settle their issues privately. They want to settle them publicly. You know, whether they want to, you know, I don't know what the reason is. Maybe it's just an inability to do so. Maybe they're just like, fuck it, I'll just monetize it, you know? In which case, that's the hustle. You know, it is what it is. I just prefer not to do it. Just for my own sake. Sounds like there's a lot of history I don't know about. Would be interesting to learn about, but it would take a long time to explain. I can condense it. I mean, basically, I'm one of the first content creators that flew the Comicsgate flag before the pros started coming in. It was guys like me and your boy Zach and a few other guys that have kind of fallen off the face of the earth. Couple of which I hope are doing good because they had some issues, but hopefully they're doing better now than they used to be. Then the pros came in. Then I was encouraged to start making my own stuff. They're like, you know, you've got writing chops. Why not give it a shot? So I did. The first two guys that were very, like, really encouraging to tell me to make comic books were Ethan Van Sciver and Timothy Lim. Some of you guys might know Timothy Lim. He's the guy who does Common America. I've known him for many years. Great guy. There's probably going to be somebody who brings up some internet drama he did. I've heard a bit about it. I wasn't involved. So, you know, my good relations with other people are not reflective on relations of other people. I can have multiple friends. But both of those guys encouraged me to do it. And so I did. I did Inglewood Book 1. EVS actually helped me promote it. He's part of the reason that the first book sold like 600 copies. Because he promoted it quite as much as he could. And he helped me get my start. And ever since then, I've just been, you know, I got involved with a guy who was kind of off his rocker, and trying to help that guy out kind of wasn't really good for anybody. So at one point I cut bait, and I just decided that, like, all right, I'm done. You know, I'm just gonna focus on my own work, focus on my own content creation, focus on my job. Because at the time, like, I was also, like, writing politics. So this is old Micah lore. I was writing political stuff for RT.com, which I regret. and I was just fucking miserable. Like the last one that I wanted that kind of gave me this feeling of I don't want to do this anymore in regards to politics was I was covering a story in I think it was Virginia where there was someone claiming to be transgender that had raped a girl in a bathroom. And the political community among the left was trying to demonize the father who was very concerned about the fact his daughter was raped. And they were trying to cover it up. That was, when I covered that story, does RT stand for Rooster Teeth? No, it stands for Russia Today. Yeah, I used to work for them. And I regret it. But I covered that for them. And I remember after writing that article, talking to my editor and going, I don't think I want to live on this planet anymore. I'm like, this is fucking horrifying. Like, he's a dad. He's like, his daughter was raped. Like, what are we doing here? And it was one of the saddest and just most mortifying stories that I'd ever seen. And all the photos that they were publishing of the guy were to try to make him look like the worst piece of shit that ever existed when he was just a father concerned about his kid. And I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I kept working for him for a while as long as the money was there. But, you know, the instant that I had the opportunity to get into MMA journalism and be an editor for Sportskeeda, I took it. I'm like, fuck, get me out of here. So I started working for Sportskeeda instead. That was such a better job. I actually miss the people I worked with there. I feel like that was a publication that I felt like I actually made a difference. I genuinely feel that website, the MMA branch, was leagues better when I was there than without. And we were doing awesome. I really feel like our coverage, our news reporting was really spot on. The writers were largely not against me holding them accountable in regards to, you know, journalistic ethics and things along those lines. There were a couple of people who bucked back at me. And there were also points where I had to, you know, stand my ground in regards to, like, editing articles, because there were people that were working past their shift, stealing my work. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, you know? But, it was competitive. But, you know, I came in with the attitude of, I'm going to make your website better. And I did exactly that. And it was just unfortunate that I was the result of budget cuts, you know? But ever since, like, after that contract ended, YouTube started making a lot more money. And I've been able to, you know, make enough of a living with this and freelance editing work for the last year. And now, like, we're at a point where there's going to be a point where, like, YouTube is going to be all of my bills and then some, and everything else is going to be just gravy. And then I'm going to be a happy camper. Then I'm going to feel like I've really made it. Because I've been working my fucking ass off to make this thing happen, to be my own boss, and I'm there. And I'm stoked. Because I'm going to be honest, like, this is something that I've wanted for myself forever. I don't mind working for other people. I don't like to. You know, I don't like to have a boss. You know, I'm not a big fan of it. I like my own pace. I like to do things my own way. And I like to do it, you know, at my own level of comfort. I'm the type of guy that I'm always out there with the concern of the audience in mind and trying to serve them as best I can, but also take care of myself, because I don't think that the two are mutually exclusive, you know? I can give you guys what you want, but do it in a way that doesn't, you know, make me hate myself at the end of the day, you know? And that's the focus. That's what it's all about. You know? Like, and that's the whole, like, you know, when I first started, like, entered the whole Comicsgate thing, like, I was very blunt about the fact that, like, my principles were that the audience comes first. And that's literally how I do everything with business. Whether it's YouTube or anything else, it's like, okay, what I ask myself, it's like, what vibes with people, what doesn't vibe with people? If something doesn't vibe with people, I don't do it. You know, if something does vibe with people, I do it. You know, I saw the video, like the fucking, how many views is the unicorn video I just put up at? I know it's more than double the review, which is crazy. Let me have a look. 47K. Almost to 50. In 4 days. Right? That's like 10K a day. View-wise. You know? I'm like, okay. That vibed with people. The one where I talk about my Dream Gundam series. That vibed with people. So I take notes. It's like, okay, people really like it when I talk about those sorts of things. Do more of that. You know? So I'm going to. Like, the next video I do is probably going to be about the Zeta Gundam, because it ties into the Grips War stuff. Then Grips will come out. I take my staycation, and then I come back refreshed, and we work on whatever's next. My top priority is actually, I think I'm going to do a video about either Magical Girl Sight or Madoka, to try to help Serena sell more comics. Because right now she's my top priority in regards to the comic book world. You know, we've got Cyberpop is done, except for the lettering. Like, the art is finished, but so that's gonna get lettered, and then that goes to the printers, right? Then that gets fulfilled. We're good to go. Though we already fulfilled the Dakimakuras, which, by the way, for those of you in here, there might be more in the future. For those of you who liked those, there might be more. But Cyberpop's running. I have no doubt Book 2 is going to be a success. I've already seen the script for Book 2. I've already edited most of it. We're switching a couple things around, and I'm going to edit the rest probably tonight. Yeah. Audience coming first has long been a standard, yet some businessmen really don't want to do it. Yeah, because there's people let their egos get in the way. And it's like, dude, like, throw your ego out the door, man. Sometimes a little bit of ego death isn't going to kill you. You know? Does Serena watch any Precure? I do not know. Serena, if you are still here, can you answer that question? But yeah, right now, publishing-wise, she's my priority. You know, we got to get her up and going. And luckily there's going to be some people that are going to help out with that. We can extend the campaign if need be. Because it's only a quarter of the way there, basically. But yeah. Let's see here. You're the kind of guy we need more in journalism, dude. You're amazing at what you do. I try. But the fact that I'm a good journalist is probably the reason why I don't really work in journalism. I hate to say it that way, but it's just true. I'm not willing to compromise my ethics for, you know, some fucking 5 clicks. Magic Girl Sight is the Temu version of Madoka. Yeah, I've watched the first 2 episodes of it, and Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna actually be doing a promotional short for Black Rhapsody as well that I'm gonna throw on the Grindstone channel this week. Am I a fan of Marvel, or did I drop them completely? Marvel, from what I understand, is like some of their series they're trying. Spider-Man apparently still sucks. I read the newest issue of All New Venom, and it was okay. It was okay, you know. Breaking up with Paul was awesome. The fact that they gave it a full page spread, that was amazing. That was such a big middle finger to Zeb Wells. I was like, holy shit! I can't believe they did it. I didn't think they would. I legitimately didn't think they would. But I did read a little bit of Eddie Brock Carnage, and that was actually not bad. But overall, Marvel doesn't have a reason to improve yet, because there's no real competition, you know. Because DC's not doing that great either. Like, they're not putting out anything interesting. I really don't like the Absolute Universe. It's just edgy bullshit. I fucking hate it. Like, when I saw Killer Croc, I'm like, why is Killer Croc a necromorph? Marvel Rivals is fucking carrying that company? Yeah. Big time. You know, I got offered a sponsorship by them, believe it or not. I don't know what to think of it. Because it's not really the kind of game I would play. So, I don't think I'm going to take it. I don't want to take a sponsor for something that I wouldn't use. You know? Marvel Tokon's going to be the same as far as fighters? Probably. Excuse me. So, you guys want to see some dope art? Am I going to try Tokon? Probably not. This is really good. I follow a bunch of artists on ArtStation, for those who don't know. I'm always on the lookout for good artists. Always. Somebody on Twitter, I don't know who it was, recommended someone to me that might do mecha design. Let me see if I can find it. Sumo-tacular, if you watch this VOD, if you're not in the chat. I will... I might reach out to this person. We'll see. I would have to look and see some stuff that they've designed by their lonesome to see whether or not it's somebody that I would want to hire to do mecha design. But I do appreciate you looking out. Because effectively, the art style that I am looking to do is think Universal Century circa 1980, 1985. You know, kind of that era. Are you on the lookout just to looking at entertainment art or talent scout? Talent scouting, for sure. I'm actually going to log into my ArtStation real quick. Here's another good one. There's two books that I'm wanting to do that are kind of my focus right now that I haven't done yet. One is my mecha book. The other one is my superhero team book. Because that one is like very horror inspired. So, digital or traditional? Yes, as long as it's not AI. Then I am on the lookout. I want to get the lady who does the cover art for Powerwolf to do the alt cover for 3 Nights 4 Days, Part 2. I did message her about it. She's interested, but it's expensive, so I gotta get the money together. But I think I'm gonna do it. Fuck it, might sell some more copies. Too bad the artists I like don't do mecha. It's not a shot for me. It's not a lot to do, really. Like it's really easy to find good horror artists. It's really hard to find people that do mecha, because mecha is just it's very niche these days. The people who like it really like it, but there's just not as nearly as many people who are really into it. Do I want Ash Williams teaming up with Guts from Berserk for a comic? If for no other reason that it would be funny for Ash to call Guts a primitive screwhead, that would be funny, because Guts would probably punch him. Yeah, it's even niche in Japan. Alright, fellas. I think we're going to call it there. I am hot and sweaty. What is the best way for an artist to contact me? My email, which you can find my email if you go to my YouTube channel. Let me pull it up real quick. And then you go to... You click on the button that says more in the channel description. There should be a button that says view email address. That goes to my business email. And then they can get in touch. So, but on that note, I'm going to take off. I'm going to go sit under the air conditioner for a little bit because of the humidity. Though the humidity has started dropping. The rain is about to start coming in, I think. And then I think I'm going to take a nap, honestly. Watch a movie, get a nap in. So, appreciate all you guys for coming by, hanging out, especially those of you who were liberal with memberships and or super chats. I will see you guys, not next week, but the week after. But until then, have yourselves a good one. Also, go buy comics.